in town, no doubt about it. Fastest growing prime time, drive time show in Central Florida. That's right. The American Adversaries coming to you live on AM 660. The Answer from the Mercury Free Broadcasting Studios. Don't forget, for the very best in healthcare, health-centered dentistry, call my dentist, Dr. James E. Hardy, at 407-678-3399. Don't forget to ask him about his great book, Mercury Free. All right, I am Christopher Hart, joined by the chairman of the board tonight. That, of course, be Mike McBath, chairman of the NFL Former Players Union.
Well, you know what? After seeing Don Trump's speech today, I have to tell you, I feel like Rocky, man. You know, I mean, there he is, standing on top of a balcony, looking down into the crowd, the American flags everywhere. You know, I could see it was a Rocky II with Carl Weathers. It's exciting, you know.
It's going to be exciting talking about it tonight. If you folks want to join the conversation, please do at 407-774-8255. We will be talking about the Trump. We will be talking a little bit about Jeb, a little bit about Hillary, a little bit about Rachel, a little bit about Jenner, and it's all going to be on YouTube. Thanks to Lucas Paris. He's got the Periscope up and running, so you can go to our channel, which is American Adversaries TV on YouTube, and you'll see the whole thing. Nick Cicero is on the bridge, so we are in good hands tonight. And it is steaming hot out there, folks.
Oy vey.
So hopefully you're in the AC, either in your car or in some building or your house somewhere, because it is nasty hot out there. But wherever you are, I hope you keep it tuned in to us for the whole hour. You know, real quick, before we even get started, I meant to ask you about this before we got going here tonight. You know what, I think it was Saturday, that was the 20th anniversary of?
No. What was it?
It was the chase. The chase, the white Bronco.
Oh! Now, wait a second, let me go back. You know what? You're right, because this is a story. We were, and I'll go through this, we were playing in
now, real quick, now we got to back up. Because you are a Buffalo Bill, right? And OJ was drafted by the Buffalo Bills.
He was on the team with me 4 years.
Yeah.
And this is really funny. We were, and then as one of the owners of the Predators, we were playing an arena game. I think it was up in Boston, you know, in the the arena, and it was before the game, and I was sitting downstairs. This is sort of embarrassing. This is in a bar, you know, with a couple friends.
Yes.
And this was really hilarious. So at the time, here comes I think it was CNN, and you know, you see the white Bronco going down the highway and everything, and the people from CNN would come back and they go, you know, our research team's doing everything they can. We know it's O.J. Simpson there, but we just don't know who the driver is. So I would blurt out, it's Al Cowings, right? And the whole bar would stand up and like look at me like, who is this loser, right? So what would happen is, you know, we'd go another 15 minutes, get me another beer, buddy, you know, and then CNN would be talking, and we've got our, I love it, their crack team. Yeah, they probably were on crack, but their crack team was out there researching it all. 15 minutes later, here they come. You know, we still have not found out who the person is driving the white Bronco. I go like this, it's Al Cowings, right? And the whole place looks at me again. So finally, the third time they come back, you know, they go, we finally have come up with it. It's Al Cowings. The whole bar looks at me, and I look back at him. I point my finger back at him. I said, for $100 a person, I will tell your future.
Now, tell everybody how you knew it was Al Cowings, okay? Because
Al Cowings.
You had been on the Bills about a year when they drafted OJ.
Yeah, and then Al Cowings came the next year.
Okay.
And what happened was Al Cowings, I used to always say, would carry OJ's bags, but Al Cowings was the #1 draft choice, and guess what? He was picked to get rid of me. But Al couldn't get rid of me. Al, I always say, was a great athlete. He just had trouble playing football. He was doing the shot put. He could run fast. He could throw the discus.
Right.
But the problem was when it came down to one-on-ones and things like that, somewhat of a difficulty. But actually, I will say he was a very affable, you know, pretty nice guy.
He could drive a Bronco too.
You know, but that was an interesting period. But the reason I had a good relationship with OJ because we both played tennis for years. And I could pound them into the ground. So, you know, we got along pretty well. And I do mean this, that if you would have approached me when this incident occurred, the murder, and said that here's the team picture, here's 40 guys, who would you guess would have killed somebody? and it wouldn't have been him. I mean,
Yeah.
he wouldn't even have been close. Now, a few of them, you know,
But not
might
O.J.
be, but not him.
Not him. All right, okay. Anyway, 20 years ago, it's amazing. And you know, that's how I started listening to talk radio. Up until then, you know, I was a country music, rock and roll guy, and I didn't listen to talk radio. A couple of my buddies were already listening to Limbaugh. He'd been around, I don't know, about 6 or 8 years by then. And I was, he's just a blowhard. You know, I was, you know, the same thing a lot of other people still think to this day about the man because they've never listened to him. And so when the O.J. Trial was going on, I was working as a carpenter at the time, and so I would take my radio and turn it over to listen to the O.J. trial because I was very interested in that, studied philosophy, political science, all that. It's a lot of law involved in all that. So it was a spectacle, and then of course they had all these sidebars. You know, you remember that? So when they'd have these long sidebars, they'd break and go back to regular programming. So I started to get a little taste of old Rush Limbaugh. And the fella that he used to use to do the parodies and the stuff like that. I mean, those parodies were great, like the one about Al Gore.
Oh,
is he a man or
That's
is
great.
he a tree? I mean,
Right.
that was great stuff. And the ones about Hillary, you know, I don't recall.
Oh, yeah.
You know, set the music and just great stuff.
But
that's what got me into listening to talk radio. And lo and behold, here we are.
I went actually snow skiing with O.J. and Nicole. I think it was about 3 months before the incident.
Is that right?
We were out.
Were they getting along?
I mean, they looked like they were getting along. I mean, oh geez, this sounds. I was in a bar again. You know, it was at the bottom.
I love how these stories start.
Where do you live? Well, actually, I'll be in a bar when the show's over. But I mean, I knew it was obviously his first wife. And you know, that's when the
because you know him when obviously because he
came
got
to
married in
Buffalo,
college.
and his first wife came along, and then Nicole came along later.
Right,
you know, bad things happened, and oh boy, you know, just not a good story. And,
was he a good skier?
Yeah, he wasn't bad. I mean, obviously he was a very good athlete, and you know, I really think, now forgetting that incident, I thought for all the notoriety the fella had, you know, he was you know, to the public, he was a real gentleman, you know, first class guy.
Sure. Monday Night Football, Hertz commercials.
Oh no, I mean, you know, except for the murder.
That little old thing.
You know, that's sort of like Hillary describing, except for the $200 million I took. You know, I'm really a great person. You gotta really like me.
That's right, old Hillary.
Maybe they could get together and co-author a book. You know?
Yeah, maybe
Right.
so. Maybe so. Yeah, that'd be a great story.
Yeah, that's not me.
All right, we'll get to the political candidates in a minute, but I want to kind of lead up to that because there's a news out of Connecticut, and we were kind of joking around about this last night because there was Johns Hopkins did a research. Connecticut recently. Several years ago, that is, tightened up their gun control laws, making it harder to get guns, and the violent crime in Connecticut has gone down markedly since then. And I said, well, it's not because there's, you know, any less criminal activity, it's because the people are leaving Connecticut. And you got a big story about that today?
No, I mean, you know, General Electric has made the statement it looks as if they are going to exit Connecticut.
And they got a big, huge place up there.
You're talking about a massive amount of input, meaning money going through their economy, that's going to say bye-bye.
Yeah.
I mean, think of all the jobs that are going to say bye-bye. And you know, you would think that the blue state, wonderful liberals that run it, when do you understand? You raise taxes, your growth capitulates downward. When do you get it? It is so simple, which really, honestly, I hate to say this to me is a basic IQ test. Some of these people, you know, you better check their college degrees. I mean, we got so many frauds out here now. You know, I wonder, Hillary, where did you go to school? I want to get one of those degrees. You know?
Well, yeah.
But I mean, look at it. Last year in Connecticut, the growth was 0.6%. Nationwide, it was 2.4.
And that's bad enough.
Oh, and that's terrible.
Yeah.
So the reality of it is, we see number one, obviously, jobs are lost. You know, number two, no growth. And then number three, what the real disaster is, you think you're getting more money, you're getting less, because you'll have less of a tax base.
That's
But I
it.
mean,
And
the
at the end of the day,
geniuses that run our country.
and then of course their only solution is to raise taxes even more to make
Oh,
up for the lost tax base.
Well, let's go to 90% because there's only 9 people left. Oh, wait a second.
And of course, what this does to the real estate values is
Oh,
they tank.
bye-bye.
And people
because
can't sell their houses to leave.
And I do think, really, I mean, take the state of Florida. We are prosperous. What are we? I think the 3rd largest state now.
Yeah, and people are going to be coming here even more so.
Very much so. And
Yeah.
get your property quick. No, but but it is a case that. But one of the reasons is taxation.
Yeah, that's right.
And
actually, real estate is a very good investment right now, especially in the state of Florida or Texas, the southern states where it's going to be warm.
right.
That's where you're going to want to be.
No, and I think once we look at what happened in the Northeast this year, I mean, that concentration of cold over there,
Yeah.
and that happens a couple more years, and boy, this place is going to skyrocket. And real estate relative to around the nation, very inexpensive in Central Florida. Very inexpensive.
Is it really?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, all right. Let's see. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Don and the Jeb and the Hillary. It's interesting how they can all go by just their first names, sort of. Of course, in Jeb, it's a nickname, but
And
we all
Trump card.
we all know who Don is, right?
Mhm.
We all know who Jeb is, Hillary. So anyway, stay with us. You are listening to the American Adversaries, and don't forget, a week from yesterday, we're going to be at Cafe Positano. All of us are going to be there doing a live remote broadcast. The broadcast will be from 5 to 7, but the partying starts at 4 and goes on into the night.
Yeah, the party started on a Saturday night.
Except make it Monday night.
Oh, that's right.
And it'll be, you got a great caricature artist, get your caricature done. Dan Peterson's going to entertain us with some music and song. And, of course, it'll be just great food and drink and partying all around. So come on out and join us. That's 1 week from yesterday. We'll be right back.